everyone, and welcome back to the One-Stop Co-op Shop. Today we're going to start our playthrough of Folklore, the Affliction. We're playing with 3 characters. We have Samson, we have Rave, and we have Val, or Valeska. And just like normal, if you want to see how to set up this game, check out the video before this on the playlist. Otherwise, hang out here and we will jump into the playthrough. Don't forget this game is still out on Kickstarter for the second printing. I am using the first printing here. And also, if you notice anything that I do wrong in the playthrough, please let me know so I can make Klingon subtitle notes and mention it in future videos. So that way we make sure this is as correct as possible. Without further ado, let's get going. The Arrival. You have traveled far, entering a territory of mountains and hills, forests, and ancient paths. As you near your destination, an oppressive veil descends as the sky becomes dim. The stagecoach you hire approaches an old stone building with a belfry and enormous arched wooden front doors whose scrollbook tells tales of horror and redemption. The coach rolls to a stop and you exit to stand before the church of the Crossroads. The church is an age-old monument and the gateway to this ancient mountainous territory. As you near the wooden doors to head inside, you hear the sound of a struggle from within. Entering the church, you see an old curator cowering at the hands of highwaymen. The highwaymen are ragged and filthy. With the dangerous edge of the desperate, they demand food and valuables. As we're playing the tutorial story, they have these little areas here that talk about what you need to do for the next action. We'll look at those really quickly, but when you're going to play any of the other stories, you're not going to have these boxes. So this is just letting us know that we have a skill check here. At this point, the group must make a skill check. In this case, one character may try to pass a Speech 8 test. And what that means is you roll a 10, a D10, and then add any bonuses under the speech skill. And if your result is 8 or higher, they have succeeded and chased away the highwaymen. If not, the group must skirmish with them. What you'll normally see is just this type of box right here. We're trying to convince the highwaymen to leave peacefully. It tells you if you succeed and fail. It tells you your speech 8, and it tells you which character. Sometimes it has to be the leader. Sometimes it can be any one character. So we get to choose which character. We only have one character that has a bonus for speech, and that is our priest, which kind of makes sense. We're here in a church. Hopefully, he can help them see reason. So he gets a +1, so that means we just have to roll a 7 or higher to convince these highwaymen that, hey, you know what? Calm down. You guys should just leave. Here goes nothing. And that's a 1. Yeah, I definitely did not succeed at that. Since those highwaymen want nothing to do with our exorcist priest, we're going to have to skirmish them. So over here it tells us what we need to do is find the highwayman creature card. One side is for encounters and then the other side is for skirmishes. Here's our highwayman card. This is the encounter side, but we're actually just going to do a skirmish. I actually really like this mechanic because this is like a mini fight. So you'll have a bunch of mini fights in these games, these small skirmishes, but then you can have a bigger encounter where there's actual miniatures and all of that. But here, we're just going to skirmish the highwaymen. So now what we do is we look over here to see how many characters we're playing with. Well, we're playing with 3 characters, so we need to roll a D6. We'll give it a roll. And a 1. Wow, okay, a 1. That's really nice. This is going to be a very quick skirmish, hopefully. So what we do is based on whatever number we roll, we place a token, and it's a skirmish token. They actually have a cardboard chit for that too, but I think you can use these nice plastic ones as well. So let's say we had rolled a 6, we'd have to place it here. And then this lets us know what modifiers they're going to have. So we're actually down to here. He's going to have -1 damage and -5 might, which is insane. That's really nice. We're at dusk, so they're at a +0. Let's see. Their defense is 42, and we gain 4 coins each when we defeat the highwaymen. So actually, this kind of makes sense, right? They are kind of filthy and gross. We're nice and fresh. They come out, and we're ready to scare them away, even if they won't want to listen to our priest. Next, what we need to do is decide how we want to place our skirmish tokens here. There are 2 sides. There's an attack side and a defense side. If you decide to be on the attack side of this token, you don't have any benefits or any negatives to your attack or your defense when you fight the highwaymen. But if we decide to choose the defense side, we get +10 for our defense and -10 for our might. However, if you choose this, you still can attack. It just makes it a little bit harder for you to succeed, and you're a little bit more prepared for an attack, so to speak, because you've got a plus 10 to your defense. Because we rolled so nicely on that D6, I'm actually going to put all 3 of them in defense mode, hoping that maybe they all can get missed, and then only one of them actually has to hit the highwaymen. Because if we can do 1 point of damage to the highwaymen, they're done for, because they're already at that skirmish counter is only at a level 1. This means our priest has a defense of 46, our archaeologist has a defense of 46, and our telepath has a defense of 48. Our next step is to roll the percentile dice. So we're going to roll the D00 and the D10 here to determine what the attack number is for our highwaymen. And this attack is going to be compared then to all 3 of our heroes at one time. So it's only one roll comparing it to all 3 of our defenses. And we rolled a 29. Then we look to see about any modifiers. 29 minus 5 because of the might here, that puts us at 24. Well, don't you remember all of our defenses were above 24? We had a 46, a 46, and a 48. So that means he totally missed us. But if he had hit us, we would then have this skirmish power. You would lose 1 D4 Vita. If the total attack roll of the highwaymen is 85, they cause plus 2 damage. So didn't roll 85, didn't have to worry about that, and no damage at all to any of our heroes. That was pretty lucky. If, let's say, he had hit one of our heroes, each one would roll individually to determine damage. So let's lose 1 D4 Vita would be for each one would roll their own D4. Next, we can now fight back. Now, we would technically all roll our dice simultaneously. I can't do that for each character, so we're just going to do one at a time. Our archaeologist can roll first. He has a plus 3 for his might, so we get to roll we'll add plus 3 to our roll. And because we have extensive knowledge of anthropology, you receive a plus 5 might bonus against mortal foes. I would definitely say highwaymen are mortal, so that means we're going to get a plus 8 in total to our die roll. And you know what, you guys? I didn't even realize. And who was it? It was Paul. Paul, thanks for telling me. Except for now, all I can think of is that this is Indiana Jones. Ugh! I wasn't even thinking that, and now I am. Bummer. I almost forgot. We are defending, and that's a minus 10 to might. So we actually have a total modifier of a minus 2. 3 plus 5 is 8, minus 10 is negative 2. We're trying to get above a 42. And we got a 56. 56 minus 2 is a 54. We just took out the highwaymen. That was easy. We'll remove the skirmish counter, and now each of our heroes gains 4 coins, and they each get a chance to search for an item. How that works is we roll a D10, and on a 10, we find an item. So it's not likely, but and each one gets to roll, so we'll roll a D10 3 times. We'll go for the archaeologist first, and it's a 7. That's a fail. Okay, the exorcist second. That's a fail. That's a 4. And the telepath third. That's a fail too. Although we failed to find any items, we each did gain 4 coins. Now, these coins did not come with the game. I have a deluxe version of Orleans, and I'm just using the coins from that because I don't want to keep writing coin numbers and then erasing them during the playthrough. So we're just going to use these actual coins, and then at the end of the game, I'll write down what their coin values are. Easier for me, and I actually prefer that way. It feels cooler to use actual coins. The curator thanks you for driving the brigands away and for saving the church from being burglarized. He explains that this area has begun to attract an unsavory element, but that there are calamities far worse to the north. He says, "The priest received this a few days ago. He left immediately to investigate. Without warning, he lifts a covering from a table, revealing a bloody mass of fur and flesh." So now we have a story skill check, and it's a nerve 4 check. None of our characters have a nerve as one of their skills, so we're just going to have to try and roll a 4 or higher for each one. This will be for Samson. He's good. This will be for Rave. He's good. And this will be for our telepath Val. Wow, she's good. Nice rolling. You steady yourself against the revolting sight. You become centered and recover 1 Vita. Well, that's great, but none of us have taken any Vita damage, so we don't have to even worry about that. After recovering from the shock of such a disgusting sight, you examine it more closely. It seems unnatural. The curator explains. Wolves have been seen devouring people in the north. A group of Ostlink hunters tracked this one down, but no matter how many arrows and spear tips pierced its flesh, it would not stop moving. They brought it to the alchemist first, believing it was bewitched by some evil curse. It formed, shifts, and changed periodically in startling phases. It only stopped after the stone was removed from its stomach. He points to a small pebble encased in glass on a pedestal near the table. Neither the priest nor alchemist knows what it is, but they fear it is related to the source of the trouble in the north. Go to Ostelink to seek out the missing priest and inquire of the people where they found this creature. It is of dire importance that you find the wolf's beast's lair. Here are a few coins to help you with your journey. You are welcome to rummage through our cellar and see if you can find something useful to take with you. Return with news when you have found our priest. This guy's a big spender. He gives us 3 coins, 1 for each of our characters. Then we also get to draw 2 item cards to find out what we've discovered in the church's cellar. It's up to you to decide which characters receive the items. I don't have to worry about this roll-off because I get to make the decision. Here's our item deck, so we'll reveal the top 1 and 2. Ooh, the Dolomite Egg. Recover 4 power points. Oh, that is a consumable, but that is awesome. Okay, we can decide who we want to give that to. And then we have the Pick. +1 archaeology, +1 to search rolls. Whoa, this costs 2 hands, though. Whoa, this is 40 coins normally, and it's a weapon? That's awesome. I think I'm going to give the Dolomite Egg to our telepath, and then I think I'm going to give this Pick to our priest. I mean, this +1 archaeology would be great, totally great for Indiana Jones, but he already has a whip, and this is 2 hands. And, you know, the Asperilium that the priest has, I actually think this is a little bit better. So we're going to put this in his hand instead of the Asperilium, and it is a 2-handed weapon, but we get to do a D4 +1. And so we'll increase his archaeology by 1, so he now has a +2 for archaeology. Not to mention +1 to search. Now when we do that die roll, and you know how we had to roll a 10, we only have to roll a 9 for the priest. Outside, you board the waiting stagecoach, which hastens your journey to the village of Ostelink. So here in this world map area, that's the main map that we looked at the beginning of the game. That's what we're going to go to next. We're going to travel to Ostelink. All characters gain +1 stride, so that means everyone's stride is 5 on their journey due to the stagecoach. Leadership should now switch to character 2 since you are transitioning from narrative to the world map. Pass the leader token to them with the day side showing. When character 2 passes the token to the next character, they flip it to the night side. Samson will give Rave this starting token, and you can see that's the night side, and that is the day side. Here's the tutorial about how to use the world map travel. I'm just going to show you, but if you want to read it, you can pause right here and look at it. Cool, let's go to it. Here's our group in the Church of the Crossroads. Here's Ostelink, where we're trying to get to. There are 2 ways that we can travel. We can either travel through the road, following it all the way around to get to here, okay? Or we can go off-road. And you can kind of see these little sections here, like this is an off-road area. The difference is when we're traveling on the road, we can move our stride level, which is 5. So we'd go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and end here for the day. If we went off-road, we could simply take a step into this location, and now we are considered off-road, but we have to stop for the rest of our turn because it's much slower than trying to walk on the road. We also will draw a different type of a card. So road events are generally not as bad as off-road events, but you can get places going off-road much more quickly, obviously. So for this first part, they suggest that you do all on-road movement, and that's what we'll do. After this time, if we have to travel, I might decide to do some off-road events. So how do we determine how much we can move? Well, we look to see whoever is our leader and whatever their stride number is. So that is our priest, Rave. He has 4 stride plus 1 from the stagecoach. So we can move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I just wanted to zoom in a little bit so you guys can see where the road is delineated by spaces. What we do now is we reveal a road event. Okay, and the road events are split into day and night events. We are in the day right now, so we read the day section of this card. Tendrils of smoke. We were surprised by a group of ghosts on the trail ahead. As we passed, they moved right through us. Ooh. All characters must pass a nerve 5 to gain a temporary power point. Fail and become spooked 8. So we can first try for the nerve 5. If we fail, then we potentially get spooked, but we can not get spooked if we roll an 8 or higher. Nobody has skills in either one of these, so let's just give some rolls. So you know how I mentioned that no one has a spooked ability? Well, that there is no skill spooked. The skill is nerve. So if you have a nerve skill, you can get a bonus for the spooked one here. But let's just get the nerve ones, past the nerve 5 so we don't have to worry about it. So this is for the archaeologist. And that's a 10. So the 0 is a 10, definitely a pass. Now it's the priest. That's a 10. Wow, this is a cool die. Okay, now this is for our telepath. And that's a 1, so that's a fail. So now she potentially could be spooked. So we now need to get an 8 or higher on this roll. Oh, come on. Come on. Where's that 0? That's a 3. So we failed. Just like any good RPG, you have tons of different statuses here. Here's spooked. Your confidence has been shattered. Receive -5 might and -1 nerve. Pass a nerve 5 at the end of any combat, one attempt each combat to remove this status. So this is Val's character card. So we're going to come over here and check off spooked. Okay? That way I don't forget, hopefully. Now, I'm doing that with pencil because eventually I'm hoping that we get rid of that. Remember, that's per combat, and I think skirmishes are considered as combat as well. So if we have any skirmishes, hopefully we can roll a nerve 6, because remember, we're at a -1 nerve right now, so we'll have to roll a nerve 6 to be able to get rid of that spooked. Can you really blame her, though? A ghost just flew through her. I would be freaked. We have now finished day 1, so we move the leader token over to our telepath, to Val, and we flip it over to show that it's nighttime. And now we can move up to 5 spaces because her stride is 4 plus 1 for the stagecoach. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We just got into Wayland Point. The first thing to talk about when you get into a town is that you do not have to draw a road event. The reason for that is because we're probably going to stay at an inn instead of on the road, right? And the other thing is when we leave, we will leave during the day because we're not going to leave an inn at night. Okay. The second thing is you can actually do some shopping while we're at a specific town. Here we have all the town services that are available to you. It is double-sided, so you'll have to look at both sides. And then depending on which town you're at, you can do 1 service per visit, 2 services, or even 3 services. We are at Wayland's Point, so that's 2 services per visit. But just looking at these coin prices, we all only have 5 coins. So right now, I don't think there's anything that we need, so we're going to continue to move on. But that is something that in the future we might need to do. We'll move the starting token over to Samson, and we'll be leaving during the day. If we wanted, we could try going off-road and going here, 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 and then here. But here's the thing. You see these red lines here? Those are impassable. You cannot get through there, probably because there's a river and we can't wade through the water or swim through the water. So if we tried to go off-road, we'd have to go all the way around. To me, it just seems like it makes more sense anyways to use the road, and that's what they suggest for your first play. So that's what we're going to do. So we'll take 5 steps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Perfect. And then we'll end our day and draw our next road event card. And we get Black Cat. A black cat crossed our path. Its large golden eyes almost seemed to glow. It hissed at me maliciously and then moved on. The leader is spooked. 7. What is it about being spooked? We've got ghosts and black cats. It's not Halloween here. It's Thanksgiving. We got to roll a 7 or higher. And that's a 5. So we have another character that's spooked. First we have ghosts, then we have a black cat. Can you blame him for being spooked? I really can't. So after being thoroughly spooked, Samson's going to give the leadership over to the exorcist, Rave, and Rave is going to move us through the night. Because Rave's going, what's your guys' problem? I'm not scared. Let's move ourselves 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I assume roads are additional spaces, but if that's not the case, whatever. We might be off by a space or 2, but that's fine. Okay, it's nighttime though, you guys, so now we're going to have to resolve this. Are you serious? Another spooked. Okay, let's read it. Afraid of the dark. The night was terribly dark, the moon completely hidden. The sounds around us caused shivers to run down our spines. We felt defenseless, doubtful, and afraid. All characters become spooked 8. So I'm not even going to roll for the other two because I don't think you can be spooked twice. They're already spooked, okay? They saw a black cat, a ghost. Now, Rave is going, what the heck is going on? Let's see if he can keep his resolve. I just can't believe 3 spooks in a row. That's hilarious. Okay, we got to roll an 8 or higher. Nope, that's a 3. We are all now officially spooked, which totally makes thematic sense. We'll give our leader token over to Val, we'll move to the daytime, and we get our 5 movement. We're so close to Eurotrusk or something like that, but we're not going to get there today. We have to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so we're close, but we're going to have one more road event before we get there. At this point, I might be a little disappointed if it's not about getting spooked. Let's see. Okay, we have vigilantes. A group of villagers were arguing on whether to burn the home of a medicine woman on suspicion of witchcraft. One character must convince them that they need evidence first by passing a speech 6. Success, gain 8 lore and a boon. Failure, become wanted, and the group must skirmish with an angry mob. Oof. Okay, so that's a speech 6. I think we can have our priest do that. Remember, our priest gets a +1 for speech, so we're just looking for a 5 or higher. We can do that. That's a 10. Yes. Rave gains 8 lore. That is awesome. And he gets to grab a random boon token. These tokens are beneficial in random ways. Not random, but in different ways. So let's grab this one. This says re-roll a failed skill check. Oh, that's cool. So we can use this one time to help us out. We'll move to having Samson as our first player, and it's going to be the night phase. But what we're going to do is just go 1, 2, 3. We can stop there, and I'm not going to buy anything again because we don't have any more coins than we did before. But the nice thing is, no event card. We then flip to the day side of this. Our priest, Rave, will now be the first player, and we can take 5 steps this way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. If you look here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3. We just have to do one more night phase outside, and we'll be able to be at Ostelink. But for now, we have to have a day road event. Let's see what we get this time. Hopefully nothing about spooking. Misfortune. Luck keeps eluding me as nothing seems to go right. Fortune had escaped my grasp. The leader loses all positive statuses. Well, we don't have any positive statuses, so that's okay. A boon is not a status. So the only status we have is spooked. So that didn't do anything to us. We'll finally give the first player token over to Val. We'll flip it over to the night phase, and we're going to get ourselves to Ostelink. Hold up there, Colin. We're not quite there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We still have to do one more road event at night. Sorry about that. Let's do it. This will be our final road event. We have to do the night side of it. Let's see what we get. We get the Fallujah Stone. We passed a garden of rocks that seemed to glow faintly green. It was decided that taking one of the interesting stones would cause no harm. The leader must pass Awareness 8 to find a Fallujah Stone. This card is symbolizing the stone. Discard it at the standing stones to remove 1 tarot card for free. Oh, cool. But we have to do an Awareness 8? That's actually perfect. Val has Awareness +2, so she only has to roll a 6. I believe in Val. I believe in Val. 6! Yes! So we'll keep this card, and if we ever get to the standing stones, we can change this in for a tarot card. So the standing stones, just so you guys know, is over here. We'll see if that ever becomes something that we want to do. And when I said to gain a tarot card, I think we actually remove it so we don't get that as a negative. Because I think, looking at the tarot cards, they mostly look negative. But, okay, we were at the night phase. Yeah, that's right. We were at the night phase. So now we're going back to the day phase. Samson is going to be our first player, but we're going to walk ourselves right into Ostelink. Generally speaking, when you get to the specific location that's asked in the story, you cannot use the town services before resolving whatever's in the book. However, here, it says we can use the town services, but it's only the physician and the gypsy caravan that are open to us. Here's the thing. So far in this play, this has been a very different playthrough than my other ones. My other ones, I've done skirmishes and all of that, and so I've had money to actually spend. We didn't, all we got was spooked. So we have 5 coins each. It's not enough to buy anything anyways, and none of us lost any Vita anyways. So yeah, I think we're just going to move on to the story. In Ostelink, the streets are deserted with the exception of an occasional townsperson hurrying home or a drunk vagabond asleep in the alley. The few villagers you see scurrying on their way pause only to regard you with cautious stares. You raise your arm and call out a friendly greeting time and again with only quickly averted eyes as a response. It does not take much to sense that something is wrong. You catch sight of a street urchin eyeing you from a side alley. Unlike the rest, it seems her curiosity is winning over her caution. You wave her over and she hesitantly approaches. When you ask her about the town and why everyone seems afraid, she looks nervous and says, "Many people are worried because of the strange things that are happening. It is worse in the countryside and a lot of the farm folk have come into town. The inn is completely sold out." You ask the girl what she knows about wolves and the priest. For a moment she feigns ignorance, but after a bribe of food, she tells you about the many recent wolf sightings. She warns that some have claimed that the wolves seem to change in the moonlight. With a full moon, the urchin says she knows nothing of a visiting priest, but that you might be able to find out more answers at the inn. We move to our next tutorial, which is about the choose your path. Here's the thing, you just choose a path and you go with it. You read the story moment and then you move on. So, the one that we have is about will you give the urchin some spare change? We have two choices. One is one character may give the street urchin a coin, if you have one. The character to do so must read story moment 25 on page 46. I would say of the three characters that I have, the priest will probably be the one that would give a coin, most likely, so I'm going to have him give one coin. That means he moves back down to only having 4 coins instead of 5. As a thanks, you toss a coin to the filthy child, who catches it midair and makes the shiny coin disappear quick as a blink. She turns to go, but then pauses to say, "I know one more thing. The wolves like to hide in tall grass, ambushing their prey. Be careful." Gain the blue story marker. Story markers are awards that can either cause a positive or negative event later in a story, but players will not know which is the case until it's revealed. Don't read ahead in the story. Yeah, obviously. So we have our blue story marker. That's going to go to our priest. True to the urchin's words, the inn is busting with people and heated conversation. Most of the patrons look to be farmers, with the occasional merchant in the crowd. The room goes quiet as you enter, and you sense that you are not welcome. The innkeeper speaks.
"What is your business here?"
You tell the crowd that you are looking for information, specifically about the missing priest and strange wolves that have been giving the town trouble. I mean, really, is that the first thing that you would say? Sorry, it seems crazy to me that that would be the first thing you would say, right? The innkeeper growls,
"We don't know anything about a priest, and we can take care of our few wolves without any help from the likes of you."
His words were fierce, but you notice several of the patrons looking uncertain. Ignoring the other's uncertainty, he continues.
"We have no rooms here. You can have a drink, but afterwards, I suggest you move on."
We now have to resolve a trickery 7. It has to be a random character, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to roll a D6. Our first player is going to be 1-2, so that's going to be Samson. Rave is going to be 3-4, and Val is going to be 5-6. Let's see who we get. 6, so it's going to be Val. So what we have to do for Val is we have to roll this die. We have to get a 7 or higher. And remember, Val has no skill for trickery. I was kind of hoping for a 1 or 2 because Indiana Jones or Samson does have trickery. Oh man, she keeps rolling 1s. That's a fail. As you stick around attempting to gather any information from the crowd, it is apparent that not everyone is happy that you're being here. A bottle flies to the air right at you. And since Val failed at getting out of the way, the bottle strikes you in the head, and that hurt. Lose 2 Vita. Val's going to go from a 22 to a 20 for her Vita. The assault by the crowd has upset you. Well, obviously, I would not be happy if one of my group members had gotten hit in the head by a bottle. They are gaining confidence, having made the first move. They are now getting ready for a good old-fashioned bar fight. Our choice 1 is, if you decide to calm down the crowd to prevent somebody from getting hurt, read story moment 1 or moment 1. If you decide to teach them a lesson, read story moment 58 on page 50. As much as I want to do a good old bar fight, let's at least see if maybe our priest can talk them down. We need to calm this angry mob. Choose a character to make a speech 8 check. If the character was hit by the bottle, you receive a -1 penalty because the crowd has gained confidence. Oh man, so I was really happy that I was speech 8 because I would be at speech 7, but we did get hit in the head with a bottle, so we have to roll an 8 or higher. If we succeed though, we gain respected. Cool. So this is our priest trying to roll an 8 or higher. Did you see that 2 that turned into an 8? I love it. Respected. You have proven your willingness to stand up for the downtrodden of this land. Gain +1 speech and +1 trickery. Whoa! We'll make that note right here. +1 speech and +1 trickery. That is awesome. So speech, we have a modifier. So now we're going to be at a +2. And then trickery, we have a 1 here. And that's going to give us a 1 for that skill. Nice. The tension leaves as quickly as it escalated. These villagers are scared. It explains their short fuse, but what is more surprising is how defeated they seem once they've calmed down. It's as if they believe no amount of fighting will help. After peace is restored, a farmer approaches you nervously and says, Your priest passed through my land, inquiring about the way to the Nurian's Hollow. I told him a shortcut I know. A day later, crazed wolves came down out of those hills, devouring my livestock and attacking my family. We ran here to Osterling to find help, but everyone's too scared to leave town. If you agree to destroy those wolves, I will tell you of the shortcut. Here's where we have another story tutorial. We'll go through this on our own, but in case you wanted to read it, I have it up on the screen. You can pause it and read about the adventuring and leadership changes. And then this is for the encounters. So that way you can read it if you want on your own time. So now we have to make a decision. Choice 1. You decide that you cannot spare the time to help him with his woes. We read this story. Or choice 2. You decide to help the farmer with his troubles. Read this story. And you know what? I think this is a great place to stop. I want to know, what do you guys think? I know which way I would personally go, and I think that would be what our team would go with, but I'd like to get some feedback, see what you guys think. So what do you think? Choice 1 or choice 2? That's it for today. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. I'm hoping that I can do another set of the playthrough this weekend. So make sure to let me know which choice as soon as you can, so that by about Sunday, I can start the next video. Thanks again, and I will see you in the next episode.